This next episode of Trivia in Chief is about our 36th president, Lyndon B. Johnson, known for his landslide elections. Lyndon Baines Johnson was born in Texas in 1908. His father was a Texas congressman and rancher. Due to financial difficulty, his father lost the family farm when Lyndon was in his teens. Johnson went to the Southwest Texas State Teachers College, which is today Texas State University, San Marcos. To pay for his college tuition, he worked at a segregated school for Mexican Americans near San Antonio. His experience at the school majorly impacted his many educational efforts during his time in office. After graduation, he continued working as a teacher, and he worked as a 5th, 6th, 7th grade teacher, playground supervisor, baseball coach, and janitor. In 1931, Johnson became a legislative secretary for Richard Clayburgh, so Johnson moved to Washington, D.C. In 1934, he married Claudia Alta Taylor, better known as Lady Bird. Lady Bird Johnson helped advance her husband's political career and worked as his office manager. In 1935, Johnson became Texas Director of the National Youth Administration, which was a part of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal. In 1937, Johnson successfully ran for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives as a Democrat. Johnson unsuccessfully ran for a Senate seat in 1941. Shortly afterwards, he became the first member of Congress to serve in active duty during World War II. Johnson served in the U.S. Naval Reserve and flew one combat mission in the South Pacific. He received a Silver Star for his actions. In 1948, Johnson decided to run for Senate. During the primary, a runoff was called. Out of the 988,295 votes cast in the runoff, Johnson won by 87 votes. Because of this, he was given the ironic nickname of Landslide Lyndon. Johnson ultimately won the election. In 1953, he became the youngest person to serve as Senate Minority Leader. He then became Majority Leader the next year. In 1960, Johnson became Kennedy's running mate. After Kennedy was elected, Johnson led the early space program, worked on nuclear weapon test ban treaties, and became a proponent of civil rights. Several hours after Kennedy was shot, Johnson was sworn in as president on board Air Force One. The next year, Johnson ran for his second term against Barry Goldwater. Johnson won by a landslide, with 61% of the popular vote. This is the largest margin in presidential election history. In July of 1964, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law, which prohibited discrimination in education and business. Over the rest of his second term, Johnson pushed for his bipartisan Great Society initiative, which included voting rights, Medicaid, Medicare, for Corporation Public Broadcasting, and funding for arts and the humanities. After the start of the Vietnam War, his reputation was damaged, and his approval rating was only 36%. He decided not to run for re-election and stepped down in 1969. He passed away in 1973, one day after learning about the end of the Vietnam War. Lyndon B. Johnson's presidency was overshadowed by the Vietnam War. The next president was Richard Nixon. Thank you.
Thank you.